going to take on an issue which is rapidly growing in popularity, certainly over in Great Britain where there's a real tradition, but here too, where the practice is spreading like a wildfire in the hills of California. That is cuckoldry, or more specifically, according to an email I got the other day and my own personal research, interracial cuckoldry. Now, I need to define first what is meant by this ancient term. Cuckoldry is the practice of allowing another man or men to have sex with your wife, often in front of the husband and just as often beyond his sight, depending upon the dynamics that have been worked out. He, the husband, is called a cuckold because he willingly allows this to happen and often takes part in the event by allowing himself to be, physically or verbally humiliated. A casual perusal of the internet will find an amazing amount of cuckolding going on. I mean, you got naked men tied up in corners with little plastic cages around their dicks, watching other men raping their wives, right? Now, it appears to me, Mia, many, many American men, mostly white guys, I will add, are turning to this practice and inviting powerful men, often black men, into their homes for, how shall I say, robust sexuality with their loving wives. Now, you come from a background where a man who does this is labeled a cornudo, a man with horns on his head, and it is not a term a man wears with pride, correct?
Well, that's a different circumstances because what you're talking about is, the husband bring a wife only for the purpose of sex. When you talk about other societies, one of the problems they have is the woman going around the man's back without him knowing and betraying. Those are two different things here, clearly. It's not the same.
Okay, well, historically a cornudo or cuckold was a term of shame, right?
But it never happened that way, that the man openly. What's the major difference now?
It's open.
We got to examine that.
It's on the rise.
And that's the big difference.
Well,
now it's not only open, the man approves and he wants it.
Why
because
do you think that is?
Well, because he doesn't believe he has enough sexual power himself.
Well, wait, why would a man willingly humiliate himself and set up such a situation?
That's exactly why, because if you don't think, you believe you don't have enough power, you cannot provide great sex, and he knows the woman nowadays, we are more liberated. Sex is an important thing in a relationship, okay? And if he doesn't think he provides great sex, he wants to bring a little spice into the life. It's just basically the man not having enough confidence. They perhaps don't have a great relationship themselves, and he might just have pleasure watching because, like I say, sex is so free, it's so available so easily, but he might have more pleasure watching the wife having sex with another man than he's performing himself. Who look how many famous people in society done that.
Oh,
Elvis, the end of his life, he did that. A lot of people did it.
John Lennon, all sorts of folks.
Because you have so much and so much availability. You don't believe in yourself, you don't think you have enough power, and you allow somebody else, which has nothing to do with a different betrayal. When the man doesn't know, and the woman's going in the back and betraying the man, that's a totally different circumstance.
That's the cornudo, right? The man with the horns in his head. Okay.
The man's betraying a woman, that's totally different.
Okay, well, so let me ask the sociological or philosophical question here before we move on, and that is, do you think this is a simple experimentation by some freakish guys, or is this some trend that is going to stay and that is going to be an established modern sexual practice?
I think everything is experimental. It's a phase. Man has been liberated in sex since the beginning of history. How many kings, how many powerful men allow his woman to have sex with a ton of different men?
Well, King Arthur allowed Lancelot to have Guinevere.
Cleopatra, right?
Well, Cleopatra loved that stuff, yeah.
So, it's nothing new. The news today is because it's on the internet, we hear about, and people are more willing to say, yes, we are doing it.
Well, also, dear, what is new, I think, is the interracial aspect of it. What do you think of it?
Cleopatra did it with the slaves, didn't she do it with the blacks? So,
well, true.
There is nothing here that's unusual. And people are into physical. They are into finding the perfect body and the muscle. And also sometimes the man wants something different that he can watch. He might have more pleasure watching a totally different race and a different color than looking at his own brother there fucking the wife, right?
I'm looking at the humiliation aspect. I was looking on the internet and looking at some of the situations and websites, and it seems a lot of these interracial things are set up so that the white guy is humiliated both physically and emotionally.